Welcome back into Main Street Living. Now, we talked about Cheryl's road trips and her scary car a little bit earlier. Road trips, they're just part of American culture. They date back to the earliest days of the automobile.
That's right, and no road trip route is as celebrated as the one that runs along the iconic Route 66. And our next guest knows a little bit about Route 66, a little more than anyone, in fact. Let's welcome Rhys Martin to the show. How you doing there, Rhys?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good, good. Well, I have a question because I'm from the South and I know people say it differently. Route 66. We've all heard about it. But for many of us who don't know exactly what it is, can you give us a little history lesson?
Absolutely. Well, Route 66 has been around since 1926, almost 100 years now. That's when all the federal numbered highways were brought into existence. And so it served as the route from Chicago to Los Angeles, which made it a very popular and well-known thoroughfare for people to cross the country.
Ooh, that's so much fun. And I'll say for the record, my car is not scary. It just has 350,000 miles on it, still going strong. So I'd be willing to take that on a road trip. But why do you think Route 66 has become so iconic in America?
Well, it's enjoyed several lives over its existence, and a lot of that is really tied closely into pop culture. When Route 66 was first established, there was a real big push to make it a tourism-focused road, just the way out west, the Grand Canyons along the way. But then the Great Depression hit. And so you had a lot of folks, especially from where I'm at in Oklahoma, that went west to try to seek a better life. Route 66 was the best way to get there. It was one of the first cross-country paved roads, so it was a safe and easy way to get there. World War II happened, and out west, again, because of that paving focus, a lot of troops used it for movements out in the desert to get prepared to deploy. When the war was over, that tourism vacation thing kicked in, and everyone went out to kind of take road trips and see family and go to the Grand Canyon. And then, it was Main Street in all of these towns. So by the time the interstates came along and really supplanted Route 66, that road, which had been on a television series and in music and all this other kind of stuff over its whole life, people already kind of knew about it. And so when a movement came along to push it into historic preservation and to let people know, hey, this road is still here, the symbol people knew, and they just wanted to get there and learn a little bit more about it. And that's why it's still there today.
Wow. Well, with the American history that's attached to Route 66, you yourself is specifically, worked with a portion of 66 that runs through Oklahoma, I believe. Now, how is that highway stretch like, number one? And then what are some of the attractions along the way that can be found?
Well, Oklahoma is fortunate that we have more drivable miles of the road than any other state. From end to end, a little over 80% of it is still out there. And it ranges anywhere from 4 lanes to 2 lanes. In Oklahoma, we have a great little stretch. It's only 9 feet wide. It was built that way because they figured if you happen to come across another car, you could just pull over and let them pass. So you have it takes a lot of different forms along the way. And you've got some of the road's most famous landmarks here, like the Blue Whale in Katusa, which is this huge whale you can walk into. It's on a pond there. The round barn in Arcadia, which dates to the late 1800s. Built round supposedly to help avoid damage from tornadoes, which we're known for here. And we also have, some great world-class museums, neon signs, and all these great little roadside Americana things that people look for when they travel the road.
Lots of photos being taken, I'm sure, as well. That's something very Instagram worthy, it sounds like. And you've got a lot going on. You're going to be featured on an upcoming episode of our sister YurView show, Driven. So what can viewers look forward to seeing?
That was a lot of fun. I got to sit and talk about Route 66 in Tulsa, which is where I'm from, in the state of Oklahoma, and how, the road here not only has more miles, but we're also the home of Cyrus Avery, who's the father of Route 66. He's the guy that went to the federal government in the 20s and with a whole group of people and said, you know what, we should really take this road through Oklahoma and my hometown of Tulsa. We sat and talked next to this great historic concrete bridge that he used to kind of make his case that this is the safest place to cross the Arkansas River. We got a statue there for him, a little neon sign park, and all kinds of stuff. So it was great to be able to talk about the road as a whole and then bring it to Oklahoma specific history.
Yeah. And Reese, you spent a lot of time and energy working to preserve Route 66. So, here's a crazy question. Why do you care about it so much?
That's a great question.
Special.
When I walk into rooms with a lot of folks that have been involved for this in Route 66, they've been involved for a long time. I've only really been into this for about 6 years or so. In 2009, I had what I called my quarter life crisis. I sold everything and I left the country. I backpacked for 10 months through Southeast Asia and Europe.
Whoa.
Wow.
Which was incredible. That's where I fell in love with photography and writing. And so I came back home to Tulsa, and thought, well, what do we have here? I've never really paid attention to my home state, and found Route 66 in that journey. And then about 2 years later, I traveled the whole road and saw a need for younger people to get involved, and just thought it told a uniquely American story. Now I meet with people that it's a bucket list item for them to fly over from another country, go into Chicago, and drive all the way out to the Pacific Ocean on Route 66. It's truly a worldwide phenomenon.
So what states does it go through? How can viewers learn more about this and find it closest to them?
So it starts in Chicago, goes down Illinois into St. Louis, and then it pretty much crosses Missouri diagonally, down through Springfield, which is the birthplace of Route 66. That's where they actually gave it its number. Comes in and just clips the very edge of Kansas, 13.2 miles. If you missed that 0.2, they'll tell you about it. Through Oklahoma, crosses the Texas Panhandle, and then through New Mexico, Arizona, and into California.
Wow. Gosh, I bet there's so many beautiful stretches of that. Q, I got to take my car out there. What do you think?
I think your car is going to take you out there. Okay. You can take your car anywhere. Well, Reese, we definitely appreciate you stopping by. And to our viewers, be sure to tune in to Driven right here on YurView on October the 10th and 17th to learn more about Route 66 with Tom Gregory and Rhys Martin. Thanks again, Reese, for stopping by.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that's lots of fun. We got to check that out. And don't go anywhere, guys. We got more coming up here on Main Street Living. Coming up next, we are showing support for women facing cancer.